a mess that's getting messier, and reason enough for Texas Republican Ron Paul to say the U.S. should stop getting in deeper and cut all financial aid to Egypt now. The Congressman joins me on the phone. Well, that would be a big move, Congressman.
Well, it would, but I'd include everybody because I think we just get ourselves into too much trouble. This is a typical example of what happens when we run an interventions-type foreign policy. We get in the middle of these fights. But we've been in the middle of this for 30 years over there. We've given Mubarak $60 billion, you know, and so we're responsible for a lot of the mess that's over there.
What if we did indeed pull out or stop giving them money? The argument is someone else comes in to our detriment. What do you say?
Well, that may be, but you don't know whether it will be to our detriment. Somebody else is going to come in. The big fight now is for us to be in charge. I mean, if Mubarak survives, we want to be on his side. If they get a new guy, we want to be on their side. So, and I just think that doesn't work because eventually the people rebel. For a while, it seems to be stable, but it's so artificial. I mean, all that money going over there. They have a 450,000-man army that will probably be turned against the people unless they take over the government. And there's a lot of wealth there for a few people, and the people are suffering. It just sets the stage for this. They should be forced to live within their means and take care of themselves. But I would do that with all countries. I wouldn't just cut off Egyptian aid. I'd cut off all aid from the Middle East, and maybe that whole area would be better off for it.
Well, the argument against doing that, Congressman, you've heard this so many times, is that in this case, the Muslim Brotherhood, through groups like Al-Qaeda and the rest, would get enormous influence in the region, a region rich in oil, and we'd be having to kowtow to them. What do you say?
Yeah, you know, that is the argument, but they ever thought whether the growth of groups like this is because they have a target, and the target is us, is our puppet governments. I mean, we didn't have to worry about radical mullahs in Iran until we put the Shah in, and then it took a couple of decades, and finally the people rebelled, and there was a revolution, and there was a blowback to us and an unintended consequence. So, yes, I think we have to worry about the radicals, but we have to understand how they get their motivation. And their motivation is how they arouse the people and radicalize them is when we take over. I mean, I think the big issue here is how long is it going to take for this to happen in Saudi Arabia? And for people to say that's impossible, I think they're kidding themselves. Now, that would be big news, and that would be major, and maybe that's why some people are discounting that. And I think oil went up, what, $6 or $7 in the last two trading days. So, so there's something significant going on. There's a lot of concern there.
On the fear of just that. You're right, Congressman. Thank you very much. Good having you.
Sure thing.